All right, everybody. How you doing? This will be Warnings and Revelations, part 48. Lots in the news here lately. It's getting more political. And so it'll be one real interesting election, if anything. The more I hear from the Democrats on the left wing, the more I'm convinced they're all insane. Elizabeth Warren looks and sounds like she has some mental health issues. Bernie Sanders does. Joe Biden, I think, is just really showing his age. Maybe even early stages of Alzheimer's or something. But out of all of them there, I think that, what's her name, Tulsi seemed to talk a little more common sense than the rest of them. I think she might be the sleeper, kind of like Obama was, come out of nowhere, sort of took center stage. You never know. Because you look at some of the characters. You get the one guy, I'm going to give everybody $1,000, a month, a check, or a week, whatever the hell he's talking about. They're all promising all this stuff, and granted, the Republicans do a lot of the same stuff, but isn't buying votes illegal in this country? Don't we have any kind of legal process looking over what these politicians are doing, or law enforcement looking over what they're doing? So if you look at the state of the country, I was listening to a little bit of Michael Savage. I'm not a great fan of his, but sometimes when he's just talking about like fiscal things and stuff like this, and he's not putting his pro-Israel politics bullshit into the mix, he kind of talks some sense here and there. But he was going over the numbers on the tax increases and stuff would have to be done to support some of these Democratic programs. And I think if you cut more taxes, people will generate more wealth. Or if they don't generate more wealth, then they'll spend more wealth, and somebody else will generate wealth out of that, and you'll naturally increase tax revenues, even though you've decreased the rates a little bit, because there'll be more people making more money. Some will actually go into a higher bracket, and others will finally achieve a bracket to where they are paying some taxes, income taxes anyway. We all pay day-to-day sales taxes and things. One of the major things we have to do in this country is get Congress under control. They have been absolutely horrible over the past several decades, fiscally. It's outrageous that they all keep getting away with just spending money like it's water. Like there's never going to be no consequence to what they do. It's ludicrous. Yeah, I know we just print money out of thin air in this country, But then, we've got this bogus, idiotic system to where the bankers, convinced people decades ago, or maybe 100 years ago. No, wait, when was it? Anyway, when they installed the Federal Reserve, that's why you pay taxes. There was no income tax until there was a Federal Reserve. You have to pay them interest on the money that your Treasury prints. Can anybody say con job, Ponzi scheme, whatever you want to call it? It's the ruling elite making laws, passing things in their favor. Which isn't supposed to happen in this country. The politicians and stuff aren't supposed to be able to, and the court systems aren't supposed to be able to just go along and do whatever they want to do. Speaking of court systems, my child support was supposed to be up at the end of June. But according to the lovely Superior Court, Pinell County, and the clerk office anyway, I'm supposed to have to file papers to get it to stop. And it's like, wait a minute. Arizona law says that unless something is specifically specified, child support stops when the child reaches 18 and has graduated from high school. It stops the last day of that month that the child turns 18, as long as they've graduated high school, which my son had done. They're telling me you still have to file papers to stop it, and it's like, well, how can you have some stipulation when the state law was changed in 2005, saying it stops automatically? How can you still put a burden on me to stop something? So, I've had to, because I lost all the original paperwork. I was on the road one time and pipes broke in my apartment, flooded the whole place, and I had a lot of paperwork and stuff was in folders and boxes just on the floor in the bedroom. I hadn't been in there too long. Didn't have any furniture or filing cabinets or anything like that, so it was just all stacked on the floor and got totally ruined. And then when they sent in the crew to dry out the apartment and everything, they took a lot of my stuff and just placed it out on my balcony to where the wind and everything, I lost all kinds of paperwork stuff. Just everything was ruined. It was bad enough the water that got on the floor, then the water, storms came through stuff, and whatever was on the balcony got ruined. A lot of stuff of mine got ruined. But anyhow, so there's a lot of things, the court system, the legal system in this country, the people who run the clerk systems or whatever, the procedures they have and everything, it just makes life harder on the average citizen. And it's like, why do you want to make life harder on the average citizen? Why are there so many hoops to jump through? Like driver's license. One, you're not going to forget how to drive. You've got your license. Unless you're stupid and go out and get DWIs and drive like an idiot, and get a bunch of points on it and stuff and everything. There's no reason, for you to ever have to go and renew it. All the reason they want to renew it is so they have an updated photo and address information on it, which, you know, technically is just a way for the police to check who you are and everything. It has nothing to do with your operating of a motor vehicle. You know, if you get pulled over and you give a cop your license, what's the difference on if the picture's 10 years old or 20 years old? You know, most people, if they move or something, would update their address normally. If it's you know, somebody with a criminal background or criminal behavior or whatever, they're eventually going to get caught anyway. You know, they're going to get pulled over, get a ticket, and not give the cop the correct address or something. You know, it'll eventually catch up with them. So I don't know why the rest of us have to jump through the hoops of constantly, you know, every 4 years or whatever. I mean, Arizona for a while before 9/11 had it was like 25 years, whatever the hell it was. You know, officers in other states, if I had to show my license, were like, "Is that real?" It's like, "Yeah, it's real." And they're gonna make us go back every friggin' 4 years. There's no point. But as far as my child support, so anyway, I had my payroll person pull up the original court order for the withholding, the order to withhold for my child support, and see if there was a termination date on it. Because under the law in Arizona, there's supposed to be a termination date. So she looked it up and she said, yep, it says order is into effect until the child's 18th birthday, and that was all that was on there. So they stopped taking it, which I asked my ex, which I knew wasn't going to happen, asked her to go and stop it, or at least see if she could stop it without, because here's the game that they play. They make you file to stop it. So if you got an ex like mine or whatever, the paper has a place for both of you to put your signatures on it and notarize it that it's okay to stop it. So there was no way mine was going to do that voluntarily, just because as far as she's concerned, she has a right to my money until kingdom come. She's not going to lift a finger to stop getting money in her pocket. Doesn't matter if it's right or wrong. She wants it. She wants that money. As far as she's concerned, she has a right to it. So that's not going to happen. And in most cases, I'm assuming for other guys that wouldn't happen either. So then if your ex won't sign that paper, you not only have to file that paper yourself to put an end to your child support, you also have to get a bunch of paperwork and fill it out yourself and provide stamped envelopes and all this and everything like that. To notify your ex that you filed for it, and there's going to be a court hearing. If they don't show up for the court hearing, that they're going to lose. And also in that paperwork, you have to give them like a response form for them to fill out why they think child support shouldn't end. Now, why do you have to go through all that? You know, especially like I didn't ask for a divorce. I'm not the one that ran around, messed around, and did all types of things and then asked for a divorce. I lived up to my commitment. I paid my child support at times when I didn't have it to give. But I didn't have the means either to go through all the processes and the bullshit of when I didn't have it to make the state stop taking it. You know, when I was on workman's comp for 8 months and was eating friggin' spaghetti every day because I was trying to pay my child support and my jacked up insurance rates to cover me and my son because of Obamacare. I wasn't in a position, to do all this footwork and download this and fill out this form and everything else and get to the court and everything and make my case that, hey, I need a break from the child support because I'm not making the money I used to make. So it's a bunch of crap. Meanwhile, there's people out there take no responsibility for their kids and stuff. Women being totally irresponsible, getting pregnant by this guy and that guy and this guy, and then getting welfare and food stamps and everything else like this. That's fair to the rest of us? People are irresponsible and have the attitude, I don't give a rat's ass, I don't give a F, and society just owes me this no matter what I do. No consequences. Well, that's what the legal system and these progressives have pushed. They've destroyed the family, destroyed the man's right over his family. They want to turn the whole natural order of things upside down. I know a lot of women don't like that. What do you mean men are superior, blah, blah? Well, take a look around the world. Whether it's the natural world or, the animal kingdom, whatever you want to call it. There's a natural order to things. And don't include homosexuality and don't include women ruling the roost. The rooster rules the roost, not the hen. The male lion rules the pride, not the lioness. So, anyway. Oh, and I'm sure they'll come out. Well, the blah, blah, blah down on this island or whatever, it's the female that, whatever. This penguin does this or whatever. Take a look at the rest of the world. Tell me which is more prevalent. But, anyway, that's just about the legal system a bit, and now they're going after the cops more in California. This kind of makes some sense. I mean, the cops, the terminology they're using, I guess, might sound a little better. A cop can't use this gun unless it's necessary, where before it was, I forget what the word was they used. But here's the thing. No cop goes to work, gets up in the morning and says, I'm going to shoot somebody today. Or I'm going to shoot a black kid today. Every one of these shootings, the police are called there. A cop didn't go looking for that shit. They didn't initiate the bullshit. But you don't hear any of these groups say, hey, you want less cop shootings? Quit doing stupid shit to have the police called. How about that? Don't be out vandalizing cars in the middle of the street or on the street at night and have the police called. They just heard a thing, NPR, and NPR ought to be, we fund this crap. You ever seen them Saturday Night Live skits where they had that Debbie Downer? Or a whole bunch of friends would be out to have a good time, and, she'd go, well, this or that causes cancer, or this or whatever kills people, or this or whatever, just always something, no matter what they were talking about or doing, she had the she would find some kind of fun-filled fact to bring everybody down. But that's what NPR is like. Like, oh my God, how can people listen to this crap every day? Anyway, they had somebody on there, I guess the cop that put that guy in that chokehold in New York for selling cigarettes. And then the guy died. During the report, they said, about how the police commissioner fired the officer who killed, they might even use the word murdered, I don't know, who killed this guy. Well, this guy was way overweight and had a heart attack, and he resisted arrest. Now, that cop didn't ask to be there. That guy had been told before about standing out there selling cigarettes, and if he'd done it again, he was going to be arrested. He also had a rap sheet a mile long for doing shit like that and other stuff, and knew if he got arrested again, he was probably going to jail. The cops had probably given him a break before and said, you know what, quit doing this out here, get on your way. If we catch you out here again, we're going to arrest you. I have no doubt at all that happened before in that guy's life. That they told him to move along, they didn't want to arrest him, move along, but if he's out there again, he's going to get arrested. So no doubt when they showed up, he knew if he got arrested, he's going back to jail because he's probably on probation or parole or whatever it was. So he resisted. Now, that's not that cop's fault. It's not that cop's fault the guy had a heart attack, and that's what happened. The officer did not choke him to death. The amount of time that he actually had him in that chokehold was not that great. If he hadn't resisted and hadn't taken, three of them to wrestle him to the ground, he probably wouldn't have had the heart attack. If he'd have just complied with the officers, and while he was complying, if he didn't feel good, he said, officers, they would have called the paramedics. But no one in the news media is going to point these things out and say, hey, wait a minute. All this guy had to do was comply with the officers, tell them he wasn't feeling good, that the whole situation was upsetting to him or causing him anxiety, and he didn't feel good, and he had heart problems. They'd have called the paramedics. They would have told him, sit down, calm down. We're going to get you some help, buddy. But NPR didn't report the way it happened. It was like these cops just killed this guy. That they have no concern for anybody. So, and there's not a police department in this country where an officer involved shooting or a death where an officer is involved or something is taken lightly. They know the legal ramifications. They know, all the hoops and everything else that's going to happen if something like that happens. So trust me, they avoid those situations as best they can. But at the end of the day, they got to do their jobs, and sometimes that requires them being physical, and sometimes that requires them defending themselves. I mean, there was when one of those things happened, there was some idiot out here talking like he's straight from the hood or the ghetto or whatever. Yeah, man. Why they got to carry guns anyway? What's the matter? They can't man up. They can't trade blows. And this and that. And it's like, wait a minute. Man up. If they think they're so tough, then why they got to have guns and stun guns and all this, and everything like Law of the Jungle shit. Cop ain't paid to prove how tough he is or she is. He ain't paid to trade blows with somebody. and to risk his life unnecessarily to where they don't go home to their family. They ain't got crap to prove to you or anybody else, Jack. Why can't they just, why they gotta man up? Why can't they man up, man? Why they gotta use guns for? A bunch of pussies, a bunch of chicken shits. Well, they ain't out there to prove shit. They're out there to protect society from people like you friggin' idiot. They don't have to take unnecessary risks to prove to you if they're tougher. What if they were all tough? What if all cops that were hired were just, 6'5", 250 pounds, trained in martial arts and boxing and everything else, and just flat out beat your ass anytime you confronted them with anything? If that's the law you want to live by. What if we did that? Oh, these cops are kicking our asses and blah, blah, blah. Well, that's what you wanted. You wanted them to man up. They started using them sticks again. That'd be alright. So anyway, that's just a couple things I've noticed on the news media. Was crazy ideas of the liberals and some things I heard in the radio, just wrongfully. And that's, people listen to like that NPR and stuff and everything. Yeah, them cops killed that guy. No, that ain't what happened. That's what she said. The officer who killed, what was his name? Garner? Killed Mr. Garner by using a chokehold. Well, that ain't what happened. Chokehold didn't kill him. He had a heart attack. They make it sound like the cop physically choked that man until he died from not being able to breathe. And yeah, the guy's yelling, I can't breathe, I can't. But he yelled it so many times, he was getting air somehow. You can't talk or yell without, he was having a hard time breathing, but he was still getting air. He's having a heart attack there. It wasn't he couldn't breathe because of the chokehold. He couldn't breathe because he was having a heart attack. All he had to do was comply. That's it. Instead, he resisted and tried to walk away. And he's a big dude. What are the cops supposed to do? Just let him walk away? Let everybody walk away? Yeah, officer. Yeah. Fuck you. I'm not, you're not arresting me. Fuck you. Yeah, I was out here. I was doing something I wasn't supposed to, but you're still not arresting me. What? That's what we're heading for. Mob rules. These Democrats and stuff keep fanning the fires, and the news media keep fanning the fires of that shit. Nobody's talking common sense to these people. They'll put out erroneous or stories that are purposely misleading, using the wrong terminology and things like that. And they want to talk about social media is causing these people to go and shoot. What's NPR causing? And on the other hand, what's Fox causing? Heard a thing on there today. Well, I can't say it was Fox. I don't know. Directly linked to Fox, but it was a conservative show. I think it was that PragerU. But talking to this rabbi, an American rabbi, who also is against Israel's policies in Palestine and in Gaza and the West Bank and stuff like that. They did everything but call this rabbi, an anti-Semite. They were really condescending to him. And when the guy got upset and started, raising his voice, and why are you raising your voice? Because you ain't got no point, and blah, 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 blah. and all this crap and everything. And it's like, no, because every time the guy made a point, you would skip over and say, well, what about, this or that, and try to paint him as somebody that supported terrorism. But anyway, the news media is all playing their game. Politicians are playing their game. You got them pointing the finger at Iran. Look at that religious theocracy there. That's thank God we don't have that here. And at the same time as we have to support Israel. Why? Oh, it's because our evangelical beliefs. Ain't that a theocracy? We got to make our foreign policy with regards to Israel based on the beliefs of these Congress people. Not sound judgment, not common sense, not the laws and international laws, but what these people, these Congress people, and even the vice president feel is right. They feel it's right because of their beliefs that they have to support Israel. I'm sorry. You cannot support any nation blindly like that. It's not constitutional. Israel's been practicing genocide since the start, since they got in that land. And there's plenty of Israelis, Jewish Israelis, who were raised there, who will tell you they've seen it with their own eyes. One of them was in the Israeli Defense Forces. He wrote a book called The General's Son. Check it out. Or check out the videos of him giving lectures on YouTube. He'll tell you what happened when they bulldozed whole towns and pushed the Palestinians out. There were plenty of Jews and Arabs who got along just fine, who lived in the same neighborhoods. There wasn't all this stuff until the Zionists started moving in and doing all this stuff. The Europeans. But no one wants to talk about true history. They want to make up all this fantasy stuff to justify the shit they're doing. Well, I got news for you. Come Judgment Day, all your little fantasies and little ideas are not going to justify the things you've supported and done before your Maker. He's not going to give a damn that you're a congressperson or a vice president or whatever you are. Might hold you more accountable because you are, if you think about it. Anyhow, I know I went a little much into my own stuff there and didn't get too much into current things. Just remember, read the Gospel of Barnabas. Every Jew and Muslim should read the Gospel of Barnabas. Every Christian should too. But every Jew and Muslim should read the Gospel of Barnabas, the Book of Enoch, and of course the Quran. The Quran is the test against all Scripture. Remember, there's no greater thing that you can say than Allah Akbar. There's no greater thing that you could say than there is no God but Allah, and Muhammad is his prophet. May peace be upon him, his family, and his followers. May peace also be upon Allah's noble servant Jesus and his blessed mother Mary. May peace be upon both of them. Alright, wish you all the best out there. Take care. And we'll talk to you next time.